Hello, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about energy medicine. What I understand about energy over 37 years of using energy techniques alongside Western medical techniques, which are basically thought to be more chemical and anatomical. But also my concern through this experience and what I'm reading and hearing about now, my concern about Wi-Fi technology and how that is advancing into what we call 5G, fifth generation technology, which is going to be many more times powerful than what we have at the moment, allowing people obviously to communicate. They feel more effectively. It's called the Internet of Things, Internet of Everything. Everything is connected. This is the Wi-Fi that penetrates walls and penetrates our bodies and will penetrate our bees and our pets and our children. And I am one of a growing number of physicians and scientists who is very concerned about the possible ramifications of this. The evidence is building that this is damaging to our bodies. And I am particularly concerned because through my practice and understanding of acupuncture, I've come into contact with so many people of different levels of sensitivity. I noticed very early on that children and artistic folk and compassionate folk and connected folk and loving folk were more sensitive than other people. In fact, there are thousands of different grades of sensitivity in the human body, and that some people may be very sensitive to certain environmental toxins. And even the present Wi-Fi, I have to use Wi-Fi to a certain extent in my practice because it's required of me for note keeping and the management of my business and my health business. However, I don't have a computer in my room, and the old-fashioned computer screens, big thick guys, did upset me, and I got quite tired. So I can understand this. And I have to say I haven't got many great answers to those people who say they are sensitive to Wi-Fi, as it seems to be everywhere. But the next step, what's being introduced, already being introduced, is going to be catastrophic for those people, and I believe for most of us, because the evidence is that this 5G technology, which sits somewhere between infrared and microwave, with very small wavelengths, can penetrate us and damage our tissue. Certainly can alter the functioning of our bodies, the functioning of our DNA, probably our thought processes as well, maybe our heart. You know, my whole life is to try and balance all this stuff up, and I know how sensitive it is. Just by introducing a needle under the skin, for instance, can have a marked effect on some people and not so much on other people. It's in the last month or so, it's very interesting, they have come up to discover what appears to be the largest organ of the body that's been hidden. It's been hidden because if you take bits out of the body and put them in formalin and look under a microscope, you don't see actually what's happening in the living body. So the interstitium is a fluid-filled sacs and islands, if you like, like little lakes and streams within the body with connective tissue around them, proteins, collagen around them. And this is part of our connective tissue. It's fluid-filled, and it really relates very closely to how acupuncture works as well. It appears that acupuncture taps into this largest organ of the body, which is in an interconnected web with little twigs and connections into every cell. And that they're very subtle changes in electricity near the surface of the body influence this. And the Chinese have known this for hundreds of years, and hence the art of acupuncture, which has been developed empirically through trial and error, through observation, handed down from generation to generation, from master to apprentice. So when you do something like this to the body, which is basically put a little acupuncture needle in, that for some people is enough to dissolve a headache. Well, likely it's to allow, once they get over, once they're relaxed, allow them to relax, and also the body moves into a more accepting, relaxed state, away from fight and flight, which is essential for healing and balance. So I've noticed over the years how sensitive people are, particularly children, particularly artistic people, particularly loving people. And for some people you just have to touch the acupuncture points, and for children you may just even have to touch and look and draw a picture and enter into their state of play for them to connect with these inner connections. That's how subtle we are. Some would say this is how subtle our soul is and how sensitive and precious it is. Precious. Precious. So I have great concerns about this new technology. I listen to those who are planning it, who are excited about it, who don't seem to know about what we're talking about. I think most people who are looking at this do know what I'm talking about. How dangerous this can be and how difficult it is to escape. How dangerous it's going to be for us, for our environment, and for all living things. Because ultimately it's penetrating all living things. Do we know exactly it's going to be dangerous? We've got enough evidence to show that yes, it is potentially dangerous. Those who are not sensitive may not be aware straight away that how sensitive this is. They may somehow be protected by compartmentalizing themselves, by separating themselves, not integrating themselves into a whole. But women are going to be more sensitive than certain men, and children are most sensitive. There's a growing number of scientists and physicians, and I'm one of them, who's incredibly concerned, and they are joining together to voice their concern. They don't seem to be as powerful as the lobby groups and the governments who are wanting to churn out this 5G technology. It's somewhat different in that it doesn't travel as far. It can travel through walls, travel through us, but it can't travel as far. So there are going to be relay stations and transmitters on every street corner, outside houses, outside schools, all connected to a smart grid, so called. This, of course, will be penetrating us, but it will also be giving feedback to the cloud or to whoever looks at it about everything about us, from our physiology to our chemistry to our brain waves or whatever. And it's untried, and it's an experiment, an experiment that may prove very unfortunate if it is as bad as we think, or even a hundredth as bad as we think. It's going to be probably the biggest disaster for our planet, bigger even than climate change and bigger even than a nuclear war. After all, it's going to be there and around us and possibly destroying us, and we have no escape. Okay, that's a pretty dark vision of the future. And I hope it's not going to be as bad as that. But I think it's going to be pretty bad. And the only real way we seem to be able to stop it is for people to get together and get educated, because prevention is going to be better than cure. In fact, a cure that will be very difficult to escape. Awareness is going to be very important. Why? Well, we know why. It's not headline news. We know why. So it's going to be up to us, and we all need to be activists in this. I'm very happy to hear from people down below if they feel that this is overemphasizing the dangers. I don't think so. My feeling, and from my reading and from the science, is quite the reverse. That we're totally underemphasizing this, and people who are seeking to profit and control are either blind to this, willfully blind to the bad effects, or worse still, comfortable with them. They may feel they can escape it, just like Hitler escaped, thought he would escape the Allied invaders by burrowing underground or barring into his bunker. But of course that didn't work either. So we have to be worried if there are folks of malintent, psychopaths, sociopaths, narcissists, who are involved in this, who may have a plan for themselves, but we know that's going to be a bit futile as well. We've got to do this for our children and grandchildren, and for our flora and fauna, if not just for ourselves. So we've got to get active in this. There's plenty on the internet about physicians and scientists who are concerned about this. And I'm one, and I hope you are as well. And it's up to us, as ever, to not just say goodbye psychopaths, but also goodbye dangerous, infiltrative, electromagnetic poison. Okay, so bye.